Hello, my beautiful friends. Today, let's talk about what karma is, how to discover your karma, and how you can actually release it and heal it and change not only this life, but future lives, okay? So, karma, whether or not you believe in reincarnation, is collected through this life, through past lives, okay? A lot of the times it's looked at as something that is accumulated over many, many lives, okay? So, but if you don't believe in past lives, totally beautiful, align with what you believe in, and it's something that you can accumulate in this life too, okay? So, I'll kind of explain both. And so what happens with karma is it's kind of like a scale that needs to balance out. And so in a past life or in this life, if you have done something on one side of the scale, then you need to experience the other side of the scale in order to balance out your karma, to release your karma. And how it kind of works is it's like this wheel, okay, that you can get stuck in. And if you've experienced something on this side and you haven't experienced this side will keep cycling. You'll be stuck in this wheel and you will keep going through the same lesson again and again and again until you have absorbed the lesson that you're meant to absorb. And so we'll talk a little bit about how that can help you discover what your karma is in a moment. But let's go back to understanding a little bit more about karma. And so, for those of you who do believe in reincarnation, understanding that what can happen, or if you don't, hang with me here for a second and you can kind of understand more about reincarnation, even if you just think it's a topic. But what can happen is, and this can also pertain to this life, is that, say for example, you stole something in a past life, okay? You would need to experience the other side of that. So then, in order to balance out the karma. So maybe you had something stolen from you in this life. So that you could understand, in one life you understood what it was like to steal something, and you had that experience. And now in this life, you need to balance out that karma by understanding what it's like to have something stolen, okay? So that's kind of how the balance works. It's like understanding both sides of what it's like to be on both ends of the spectrum, in both people's shoes. And usually karmic lessons, the way I see them, are things that we've signed up for. So our soul has decided that it wants to learn these lessons. And I know that can sound really far-fetched and hard to grasp, or at least hard to believe if that is your reality. But yeah, what happens is our souls, before we incarnate, we decide that we want to learn lessons, okay? And that can create karma for us. So it's like, I want to learn. What is happening is that, have you ever noticed that challenges are so much better teachers than gifts? Like, I learned so much by going through a challenge, by going through a suffering, by having an experience, than I do by things being easy, okay? And so if our soul is reincarnating to evolve, to go through evolution, to experience things, to go through consciousness, if karma exists, if all these things exists, it is because our soul is trying to evolve. It's trying to expand its consciousness. And it does that through experiences. And that's also why suffering exists. It's not just because we're like, this is so fun. It's because suffering actually teaches us huge, valuable life lessons, and our soul collects those over lifetimes or over this life. And so what happens is that we have made, you can call it a soul contract, is what a lot of people call it, before we were born, in this life and other lives, of what we want to learn, of what we want to experience, of how we want our soul to grow and elevate its consciousness. And so that can create karma. Also, we have free will when we come into this life and this human existence. So that can create karma too. And so again, it needs to be balanced out. The other things that can happen is, if you've ever noticed that you have fears in this life. It can tell a lot about what happened to you in a past life, okay? Or that maybe you keep repeating the same thing again and again in this life, and you're like, why do I keep attracting these really crappy relationships where they're just rude to me and mean to me and treat me poorly? It's because you're stuck in a karmic loop, and you are not going to get out of that karmic loop until you learn the lesson that you're supposed to learn. So what draws you to those relationships or to that lesson? What have you learned from those relationships or that lesson? What is the belief that you still hold that's still keeping you in that loop? And how could you change that belief to get you out of that loop? If you think that that's what you're worthy of, those type of relationships, then maybe the lesson you're meant to learn is that you are actually worthy of beautiful, incredible love, of beautiful, incredible healing, respectful love exists. And that if you change your belief and work through it with affirmations or any tools that work for you to understand that you are worthy of beautiful love, then you can break out of that karmic cycle, that karmic loop. And that means that maybe that's the lesson that you were meant to learn, is that to break free and to understand and give yourself worthiness and self-love. And then you get to free yourself from the cycle. And that's just an example, of course. Another way that this can manifest that I see for a lot of clients is, and people in life, is that maybe in this life they experienced abuse, sexual abuse, parent abuse, any type of relationship abuse. And this is going to be a sensitive topic, okay? I'm just going to tell you that now. And you're really stuck with like, why did this happen to me? And of course, nobody deserves to have that happen to them, okay? In full transparency, I'm going to get real personal here. I have experienced a sexual abuse, and I'll get into that in later videos and talk about transmuting and healing sexual abuse and things like that. And I spent a lot of time being so angry and upset, like, why? Or just burying it and not even looking at it. And I came to realize that that suffering and that pain actually taught me huge life-changing lessons. And is now allowing me to help other people heal because I went through that wound and I have healed it and am forever healing. We're always in a healing journey. I am now able to help other women, men, people heal that, okay? And so my point is that when we have things like this happen to us, it can actually be something that we signed up for in this life, to have this experience, to experience suffering, to expand our consciousness and raise our evolution and evolve. And also, it's very possible that in a past life, we were the abuser. And so we needed to come and have that experience in this life so that we are able to balance the karmic scales, okay? I'm not saying that that's what happened to me or you. I'm just giving an example, okay? But I do have a lot of clients that have memories that are really stuck in this pain of being abused in this life. And then we do energy cleansings and we learn about their past lives, and they come to realize that they were the abuser in a past life. And it's this wildly healing, transformative experience for them to be like, wait, but my soul knows what it's like to be both. And then to forgive themselves finally for the past, for that life. And so the other way that karma can manifest is just in this life. Like maybe when I was a child, I was bullied. And then it manifests into in a relationship that I'm being mean to somebody else and bullying somebody else. And I'm like, wait, what's happening? Like, this doesn't justify bullying people, of course, but I'm just explaining how karma can work. Another way I've seen it manifest is a good friend of mine is extremely incredible healer, intuitive, psychic, powerful being, helps and serves the world, helps a lot of people. And he is genuinely afraid sometimes of his own power. Okay, his own abilities, his own connection to the universe. And he came to realize that in a past life, he had actually abused his power, and he'd actually practiced a darker type of spirituality. And so in this life now, he's come in as a light worker, using his power for very selfless reasons and just serving the world. And he has this fear of his own abilities because he's experienced how much trauma that has brought him in the past, okay? And so that, again, is kind of how karma works. We have to balance things out. We have contracts with other people. Maybe somebody else did something awful to you in another life, and now you've come together in this life again to work out that karma together. And so that's another way it can manifest, is you can have karma with other people. And so again, these are things that we have agreed to, our souls have agreed to come in and learn. But we can get stuck in this wheel, in this karmic loop, by refusing to learn the lessons. And this can happen in this life, or it can happen in many lives, okay? Sometimes the same people can come into our lives again and again because we just don't learn the lesson. And it's our souls trying to get us to learn the lesson and evolve. And so that can continue to repeat. So let's talk about how to discover our karma, how to come into awareness of what our karma is so that we can release it and free ourselves from it. Get this weight off our shoulders, get this weight out of our relationships, okay? And again, it's a gift, honestly. Like, it's suffering and it can be pain. It can also be beautiful and miraculous, but it's a gift because it's something that we've signed up for, and it's something to raise our evolution and consciousness, okay? And so how to discover our karma. There's a couple different ways to do this. My main suggestion is look in your life. Is there anything that's repeating? Is there anything that just keeps happening and you're like, why does this keep happening to me? Why? It's time to look at that thing differently, okay? Or it's time to seek help. Get a coach, get a therapist, talk to a friend, journal. Try to go deeper into what is going on there, what you are refusing to learn, or what are your beliefs around that reoccurring event, and what would it look like to change those beliefs, okay? Because if you change them, that could be learning the lesson. And just experiment with changing the belief and see what happens, okay? Does it stop happening? Another way to discover what your karma is through looking at what triggers you the most. Like, what is the thing that just sets you on fire? Whether or not it's something that's continuously or continually repeating, like, and maybe you're like a super happy, optimistic, easygoing person, but still, everybody's got their rage, okay? Everybody's got things or one thing that just like burns them to the core, okay? And that can be some really powerful karma. And I will use myself as an example again. I try to share myself as openly and honestly on this channel with you guys. I know that makes different people feel different ways, but I'm really here to send love and to help you guys understand and know that honesty and communication and vulnerability are things that take strength, and they're things that we can do and make a world that exists in this way, okay? And so, myself as an example, I have a huge rage for the masculine and feminine wound, okay? For the way the patriarchy, the inequality of the man and women. And I know a lot of people do, okay? Obviously. But I am very aware that I was stuck in a karmic loop over many lives where I experienced sexual and traumatic events, sexual abuse and traumatic abuse, as a woman, okay? And like being sacrificed, some really intense things. And that has created the deepest burning rage, pain, sadness in me of the masculine, towards the inequality, okay? And towards sex and intimacy and trusting a man. I am a woman, identified as a woman who loves men, okay? And so that manifested in my relationships for a long time. Very untrusting, had no idea why, didn't believe that I could be safe, all of these things. And so I was stuck in that karmic loop for a long time. And I kind of shook it up and freed myself in some ways to have it manifest again in this life, but in a much lesser traumatic way, okay? But still, there's many lives of trauma and fire is burning inside of me. And I have to work through that. And so I am forever triggered. I am deeply triggered. If I ever feel unequal, your girl used to walk around in her masculine, fiery masculine energy for so long. I would literally wear men's clothes because I wanted to be in my masculine, because my feminine was so abused and so afraid, and I wanted to be in power, and I wanted to show, yeah, I might have been born as a woman, but that doesn't make me any less equal. I am strong, and don't mess with me, okay? And so it caused me to shove my feminine down, which I'll have a whole nother series of videos about balancing the feminine, masculine, those types of things. So stay tuned to that if that's something that you relate to. But mainly my point is that I am like deeply enraged and triggered if there's ever a moment in my life where I feel like I'm looked down upon by a man, especially, which, wow, that can make relationships really difficult, right? And like, it's things that people don't even mean to do, and I'm triggered. And so that was like the thing. It wasn't like knowing about my past lives. It wasn't like experiencing in this life again. It was realizing how easily I am triggered by my feminine masculine wound, by being a woman, feeling like I'm being looked at as lesser by a man. Experiencing that trigger and realizing how often I am triggered is what helped me come to realize, oh, I have some karma in this plane. And and I'm working through it, and I've been working through it for a long time, made a lot of progress, continuing to heal it. I'm realizing and having to continue to realize that I can trust a man. I am empowered in my femininity. I can heal. I can love. I can experience beautiful romance and intimacy where I am looked at as equal and I'm empowered. All of these different things, okay? But my point is that by looking at the thing that triggers you like poof, really intensely and consistently, that will be beautiful insight to your karma. And all you have to do is just continuously try to work through it. Look at it. What is happening? What are you being triggered by? What is the deepest pain? Okay? What are you stubborn to learn? What do you almost kind of feel like the universe is trying to teach you and show you, but you're like, you don't understand my pain. You don't understand what they put me through. Okay? If you hold on to that, I never want to devalidate anyone's pain. I know we have all felt intense and wild suffering and pain, okay? That is real. That is so real. But if we stand on one end of that and we think, you'll never understand my pain, you'll never get it, I'm never letting this go, you are just going to continue to experience it. It is going to keep repeating in this life and in your next life, and you're going to keep repeating these traumatic events, okay? And so it's not that we need to devalidate our pain and let them go, okay? But we need to release the karma. It's time. You're worth letting it go. I'm worth letting it go. It's so freeing to change our lives in this way and to take this huge weight off of ourselves we've been carrying for this life or many lives and be free. Let's be free together, okay? So continuing of how to discover your trauma, you can look at what are things that are reoccurring in your life, especially if you don't like them. What are you triggered by? And the other one is astrology. There's actually a place in your astrological chart called your south node. And so you need your time of birth, your date of birth, and your place of birth, okay? And you can look it up online, and you want to look where your south node is, because where your south node is your karmic lessons, what you're meant to let go of in this world. That's I can't go into explaining that for you. And I would also be wary of trusting different websites. Sometimes just maybe read up on a couple websites if you want to understand what that means for you, and maybe Google it in karma too, like what does Gemini in the 6th house as a south node mean karmically? Or you can also feel free to book an astrology reading with me. I'll totally take you through that and all the different things in your chart. But my point is that you can also discover this astrologically by looking at where your south node is in your birth chart. Okay, and so moving on, let's talk about how to release, because let's get rid of this. Oh, wait, anyways, okay, so one, when this trigger comes up, okay, when this thing that you're constantly being triggered by, and I can speak from my experience and my deepest pain and rage, is that we have to make a choice, okay? Or when this thing that's continuing to happen that you're like, why does this always happen to me? And when you're like noticing that you're going back into it again, or maybe you're in the middle of it, or maybe you just got done letting it go, we have to make a choice. We have to make a choice to look at it and look at it differently. Try to come into it with an open mind. Try to walk through it and work through it and come to a realization of what is happening. What could be happening? What could our belief be that is causing this? What could this pain want me to learn? What could, if this is my belief, which is just filled with pain and rage, what would the literal opposite belief be? And what if I tried to feel into that belief and work towards that belief? And how that can literally get us unstuck and change our entire lives and release this life and past lives, many lives of karma, okay? And so we have to make a choice. We have to change our beliefs. We have to look at things differently. We have to wonder, what is causing this? What am I trying to learn? What is the universe trying to teach me? What is my pain and my suffering trying to teach me? Also, what if this belief that is like so strong, because there's so much pain and suffering that has caused this belief, what if I release this belief and I opened myself to the opposite belief? And how could that balance out me and my karma? And it's not like it just evaporates the past pain, but you will feel the weight of that past pain evaporate, okay? And this can be as easy and amazing as you believe it to be, and this can be as difficult as you believe it to be. And I don't mean to ever devalidate how hard this is, okay? But again, your beliefs shape a reality. So you can believe it's hard, you can believe it's easy. If you want to go through the pain and you want to feel that pain because you're like, you don't understand what they did to me, feel it. That's beautiful, do what you need to. But just open yourself to the possibilities, because if you keep continuing the cycle, you could stay stuck. And I want to also offer, if you need any assistance and help with this, if you like, A, you're not sure what this is, or B, you need help working through it, please feel free to reach out to me. I have a community, I am a coach. Reach out to a therapist, reach out to a friend, ask for help. We are all out here willing and wanting to help you and wanting to listen to you and hold space for you and feel your pain and experience your emotions and help you through this. So whether it's me or somebody in your life, don't be afraid to reach out, okay? You don't have to do this alone. And a lot of the times, the karma was built with other people and is meant to be healed with other people too. So who are you drawn to? Or who are you like, absolutely not, I'm not working through it with you? That could also give you insight of who could help you heal it. Doesn't mean you need to heal it with that person. And I'll explain how you can do that without the person in a moment. Well, let me just get into that. If you don't want to heal it with that person, but you feel like that's part of your karma, A, look at the belief as to why you don't want to, but B, the only way out of it is like this step that can be really difficult for people. It's like imagining the contract that you made with this person to experience both sides of the karmic wheel and work together on it. And you have to forgive yourself, forgive them, and then realize that there is nothing to forgive because you both signed up for it. And then you have to let them go, forgive them of everything, realize that wasn't even anything to forgive, that they did exactly what they signed up to do, that they did exactly what you signed up for. And then imagine yourself tearing up up that contract and forgive yourself. Realize there's nothing to forgive in yourself. Again, you signed up for it, and free yourself, okay? Doesn't mean that that's any easier than healing it with the person, but that's your other choice, okay? So let's continue to get into how to release it. And that kind of brings me to this big point of the main way that we get out of this frickin' wheel and we stop experiencing this and we release this karma is through the word forgiveness, okay? And why I say the word forgiveness is because there's a couple steps here. We have to forgive ourselves, okay? We have to forgive ourselves for maybe what we did in another life, what we did in this life. Maybe we didn't do anything. Maybe something happened to us, but we're still ashamed of it and mad. There's still things to forgive in ourselves, okay? And then we have to forgive the universe, the person, whoever we experienced it with, life. And then we have to realize that there's nothing to forgive, okay? And you don't have to do it there. You can go straight to realizing that there's nothing to forgive, but I find it a lot easier to take one step at a time. Forgive myself or forgive the other person, whatever I feel like I can do in this moment, whatever the first step is. And then do the other. Forgive the other, forgive yourself, forgive the other person. And then stepping into realizing that there's nothing to forgive, that you signed up for this karma, that you signed a soul contract to come into this life, that we did. We signed a soul contract. I signed a soul contract to experience this abuse, to experience this pain, to learn from it, okay? And that is like, whew, I can even feel the fire burning in my chest as I say that. It's a hard thing to accept. So be patient and compassionate with yourself. Be slow. This could be something that was built over years and years and years, okay? And it could be something that you just sit with in meditation and just think about everybody that's ever harmed you. Forgive them. Just say, I forgive you. I forgive myself. There's nothing to forgive. And keep saying that again and again with each person that has ever you felt like has harmed you or you've harmed, until like stick to one person, say, I forgive you, I forgive me, there's nothing to forgive. I forgive you, I forgive me, there's nothing to forgive. And keep saying that mantra until you feel the weight and the freedom come. And then move on to the next person and experience. And keep doing that. And you can just use that as a mantra affirmation and sit with it in meditation, and it can change your life. It changed mine. And so, yeah. Another way is, like, again, imagine tearing up that contract. Once you've forgiven yourself, forgiven the other people, realize that there's nothing to forgive because your soul actually wanted this, even though suffering and pain can feel like the worst. It is creating huge evolution, huge shifts in your consciousness, huge expansion, okay? And that is the reason that we come to Earth. That is the reason that we are human. That is the reason that we incarnate, okay? And so it's hard to experience. It doesn't make any of the good stuff obsolete. Like, all of the good stuff is meant to be as well, and we need that, and we're here for that as well. But that what if suffering was good too, and had a purpose? So, and that doesn't mean that I mean to devalidate your suffering or tell you that, you losing your loved one was meant to be. Okay, that is not what I'm saying. Your pain is real. Your suffering is real. I send you all the freaking love for that pain because, man, I have a really good friend who lost her partner really young and has a son, and I could never look in her eyes and be like, that was meant to be, I don't mean to devalidate your pain. I love you. All I'm saying is that we can free ourselves of the weight that we carry, okay? And that we're meant to. The universe wants us to. Our soul wants us to. The other person that we might have this interaction with or this karma with wants us to. Maybe it's subconscious, but yeah. So once you've forgiven yourself, other people, you realize that there's nothing to forgive because there is a contract. Tear up that motherfucking contract and free yourself. It's over. That's it. That's our karmic wheel. That's our karmic video. This is a hard one, right? It's a heavy one. Some parts of it's easy, some parts of it's heavy. I send you all the love and gratitude. Comment below if you have questions, concerns, if I've triggered you, if you have your own karmic experiences or suggestions of how other people can work through it. I'm building a community here, a community of people that can share their experiences openly and honestly and vulnerably, or not, or just read other people's experiences, but help each other to grow together, okay? I've got coaching and astrology reading if you guys want to work more one-on-one. I've got lots of free videos and resources for you as well. My only intention is just to share love and knowledge from what I channel from the universe, from what I've studied, from traveling the whole world and studying all these religions and spiritualities and cultures and people and my own lives, okay? I send you lots of love and gratitude for being here. You've got this, okay?